Oh,
Beautiful.
fun. Look at us planning out stuff.
Oh my God, we're so organized.
Yeah, I feel like looking at this again, I'm like, yeah, this is me still. It probably is not the me who would have taken this test like years ago, but like
Mhm.
the me of last July, I think is still pretty much the me of this
Right
August.
now.
So,
Okay,
yeah,
great.
yeah. Okay, well,
Yeah, I don't
cool.
know. A year. I feel like a lot can change in one year, but I don't know. I feel like
Should I do it
at the
again?
same time,
I don't
like
want to do it
4 or 5
again.
years has gone by, and I don't feel any different either at the same time.
Yeah. Now, I mean, I know that like I like diving deep into the essence of me. I know I'm not the same as I used to be. Like, I'm just not. I used to be like super shy. Like, this never would have happened back in the day. Never,
Yeah.
you know? I mean,
Hmm.
I'm still pretty shy, but not to the same place.
Level. Yeah, where you were
And
before.
I certainly would never have been comfortable sharing my dirty books on Instagram.
And I have a fully successful page about it.
It's gone crazy too. Well, I guess we're doing life updates this episode, so I
Oh
could
shit.
talk about
Okay,
that.
yeah, I guess we are. I guess we are.
We're podcasting again. Like,
This is
oh,
our problem. This is
that's
You're just gonna have
hilarious.
to cut the beginning of this one.
It's
I
like
guess.
it's okay. It's okay. That's
That's
our
okay.
tangents. We are who we are. We are
Yeah, we're
clearly
not
embracing that
unapologetic.
these
We're
days.
unapologetically
So,
ourselves.
yeah.
This is why we did this in the first place. This is
Yeah.
why we were like,
Oh, so funny.
oh, it's so good. It's
Who
so
are
good.
we?
Well, hello.
Hello.
Good
Good
morning.
morning. I got up and I like turned it right before I called you back. I like turned the lights off and I'm like, how does it look with my new mood lighting? But then I was like, it doesn't look any better. So I just turned it back on.
I feel like mine kind of like changes too often because I don't even know how to change it, to be honest with you. It's my husband's stuff.
Well, mine
So
has an
like I
app,
just have
which
like
is really
a
cool.
disco in the back.
Mine's got like an app that I can use.
Oh,
And
fun.
like the other day, I had it set to blurry again.
It's those ghosts, man. It's them ghosts.
I had it set to like my music, like my iPad was over here. And like, so I had
Hmm.
it turned down kind of low so I could hear it, but it didn't come through the
Hmm.
Zoom. But the speaker on this light thing could hear it. So it was like, pulsing and dancing to the
Oh,
music.
wow. Yeah, I was
And
like
then
dancing to the music.
and then the person that I was on the Zoom call with eventually said, like, that's distraction. And I'm like, oh, like to me, it was just like I was just going with it. And I'm like, okay, let's go to the sunset setting. Like, it's like awkward.
Well,
So,
I love
okay.
that little addition to your office. Super
It's
cute.
fun. It's fun.
Yeah,
Although
it's
I
super
will say
fun.
the music sync also works when I'm typing on the keyboard. Like, and then I'm like typing
Oh,
really fast and then it starts flashing in the background. It's a little weird. But and then when I yell
great.
at the husband, it like glows. So that's
Yeah,
so this is
that's
my
so
first life stuff
fun.
update right there. My new
Yes, yes, very cool, very cool. Well, guys, welcome to the Two Victorias podcast. We're here on our fourth episode. Oh my God.
crazy.
I'm the first episode just dropped. Like this is in the future.
Yep.
So,
Oh, we're time
but
traveling.
we're time traveling. Oh my God, it's insane. That's so crazy. Like I'm like I don't know. We just went over like a little game plan of what we're gonna do for the next month, and I'm like, how are we
So
already
crazy.
thinking about a whole nother worth of content? I'm just so ready for it. This is like
Mhm.
out of my whole world of craziness, like having something that I'm like passionate about, but like is just because I like it is like a weird concept to me.
Yeah, I
That
get
makes
that.
sense
I get that.
because I have so much going on and I'm constantly so I've got this other passion project of mine that like was a kind of like a fluke kind of thing that happened. My friend who is a comic book creator he had asked me to help him organize his short film that he was filming. And they were getting everything together. And I mean, it was like, it's a lot of moving pieces. I mean, I'm sure
Yeah.
you could assume that a short film would be super, super intense, right? Like it's going to have a lot of moving pieces,
Yeah.
people, wardrobe, makeup, all that. So, and so he had asked me to be a part of it. And we just actually had a Comic-Con that we were like making an appearance at, and they had a panel at, and it was like, it was insane. Yeah. So that's
That's
like my other
crazy.
little passion project. We're in our third like round of editing. And then I'm going to be planning like a whole short film festival type thing for us and the other creators to like
Wow.
show their films. And I don't know, I'm just really, really excited about it. And my friend Josh is in it. My other friend Victoria is in it. Like,
Crazy.
yeah,
Still don't understand that.
yeah, it's so crazy. But, so yeah, that's just like even just a small snippet of what's going on lately for me. But I am really excited about this podcast and, making it through a month of content, I think is, I don't know. I don't know how other
Pretty
people
cool.
structure their podcasts really, but I feel like we've done a good job.
Yeah, I think we're on top of this, and I'm sure it'll evolve and change, and
Mhm.
however we decide to do it later on, you know.
Right. No, I'm sure we're going to have a different book rant
Yeah.
at some point.
Oh, we
Yeah.
gotta like maybe that should be on our schedule. Like once a month is just straight up ranting about bugs. Like, because I mean, I can rant about this one that I'm on right now in a good way, though. In a good
In a
way.
good
It's
way.
a good
Good.
rant.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm actually on some weird book journey because, like, I don't know if I've told you, but my mom and I are like in this like mini book study with her friend,
Oh
and
no.
we watch these college course like videos about the books. And we've done it now for like almost a year, I think. We started with like the Iliad and the Odyssey because like I love Greek mythology. And so, but I'd never read those in college or anything like that because I was a business major, wasn't a literature, wasn't really into literature
Yeah.
in college. But my mom is a literature manager. My mom is a literature major. Like she's about to go get her master's and some shit. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
So yeah, she's great. She was an English teacher for a really long time. And then her life's been kind of crazy too. Like she's just had a lot of different hats and in the school industry and and stuff like that. So when she had said she was going to do this book study because she kind of does like a Bible study / book study with her friend, and then I was like,
Hmm.
well, if we're going to do like real books, like I'm down. Like,
Yeah.
um, so we started with that, and then now we're on this other book, which is really great. We did fairy tales. That was awesome.
Oh,
We did like Alice in Wonderland. We
oh,
did
fun.
like 100,000 Leagues Under the Sea. I mean, we did so many good like classic books. Um, we did Dante. Dante was great. Gotta love some Dante. But yeah, it's been, I don't know. I love books, so
You're over
we'll
there
always have
reading
that
like
in
the
common.
classics, and I tend to read more smut. It's
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah.
It's like, Mom, don't look at my book page.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
and you're over
you
there like,
can't
Mom, let's
tell.
do a class together. And I'm like,
Oh my God. Okay,
like you
so
could
I
not go to my
totally have another
class.
life update. Have you seen this drama about this book? And I don't know the name of the book, and it's going to kill me, and I might have to Google it, but it's a really bad book. And it's a book that like someone wrote, but like everyone's like, oh, the reviews are like so great, but the book's like terrible. And like there's advertisement for it being like a fun, smutty like book, and it's not. There's like two lame kissing scenes. Like, I don't know. I have to
I
look
feel
it up
like I
now.
know
It's gonna
what
bother.
book series you're talking about, but I don't want to like say it because if it's not, then
Right,
that
right, 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 right,
like,
right, 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 right.
you
Yeah,
know.
no, no, no. I agree. I agree. I agree. But you know
So,
what I'm talking about
I
though,
think I know
right?
what you're
Okay,
talking about,
because
where everyone's like, "Oh, it's so amazing! It's so amazing!" It's like, really? Is it worth all the
yeah,
hype?
and then no, my friends right now are reading it and they're like, actually, it's pretty shit. Like, it's bad. It's bad writing.
Mhm.
The editor, like, either the editor ripped it to pieces and then like it just didn't flow after that,
Oh,
or like it's like apparently like very high combat because I think the person who wrote it was like in the military or something like that.
hmm.
So he has like a lot of, or they have like a very good experience in that kind of like attack combat, but it's in a fantasy based world. I don't know. I just
Huh.
was like,
Well,
sucks
if
to
it's a
suck.
book,
And I
I
don't know.
think
I've
it
read some
is.
bad
I have not
books.
read it yet.
Right.
because of like, well, one, I've got like a bazillion books on my list right now. Like, how do you even
Fair.
pick? And two,
Fair.
it's just like I'm waiting to hear more feedback, you know?
Well, and I think you should get feedback from people that you trust too. And I think
Yeah.
that's something that like I love about our channel too, is that like we really kind of give like our unapologetic opinions of the books.
Yeah. Like we want to be nice, but at the same time, we got to be honest. We can
Yeah.
be nice
Yeah, I gotta
and
tell you.
honest, It's like I read a book, if we're talking about books, I read a book the other day that like there's I've been seeing all kinds of hype about like it's a duet. So it's like two books. And I went to look it up and I was like, okay, I've seen like this keeps popping up. Maybe that's the sign. It's time to read this. I'm just in between
Right.
books.
Right.
And then I look it
Yeah.
up and I like to download it to my Kindle. And there's like a little note at the bottom of the description about a book that is like the prequel. And I'm like, I've never heard of there being a prequel to this, but okay, let's
Hmm.
start there. I could not finish it. And that, like, I think in my entire life, I've maybe had two or three books that I just couldn't finish. I could not finish it. I got to like, I don't know, the end
Wow.
of chapter 6, and I'm like messaging Mandy. I was like, I can't do it anymore. I think I have to put it down. Like, I just can't do it anymore. It was like, because
Yeah.
it was just like, it was extremely dark, which I can read a dark read. Like, that does not bother me as long as there's like a
Right.
purpose. And this didn't feel
Right.
like there was much purpose to all this gore. I mean, like very detailed, like bitch be crazy type of gore. And
Right.
and like I even texted Mandy, I'm like, okay, let's sum this up so far. Bitch be crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
Like this is
Yeah.
my summary right now. But I just couldn't do it. And I was like, if this is how the other two are going to be, like I can't read it. Like what's
Amount.
all this hype
Yeah.
that's I
Like
can't read
a
it.
amount.
And
Yeah.
then I started diving into like different reviews, and like then I started
Hmm.
diving into like give me spoilers. I'm okay. Let me like spoil this
Right.
for
Like
me.
give me
Is it
something.
worth
It's all
it?
right. Yeah. Yeah.
And then apparently like the only connection this prequel has to the actual duet is like one character has like a little pop up in one chapter, like, and that's it. And I'm like, that, like, then why did I put myself through this? Like, surely the other ones cannot be like this. Like, I need some purpose. And then there was
Right.
another spoiler, which it's like, okay, well, I can see that. That makes sense, but still, bitch, be crazy. Like,
Right.
which is okay.
Right.
I mean, sort of. I mean, like,
Right. There's nothing wrong with being crazy, but
I mean,
like
well,
don't be
like
killing
in real
people.
life, the crazy that
Right.
she was, like,
Yeah.
we don't condone that, okay? Don't go
Right. You're
murdering
right.
people, okay?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
disclaimer, we do not
Just
condone murder, okay? Like, just
not a
disclaimer,
thing.
like, do I need to put a pop-up here? Disclaimer, we do not condone
Yeah.
murder.
No, you know
We
what's
may
so
read
funny you
about
say
it,
that is like
but we
I've
don't
been
condone it.
obsessed. So my phone background right now is Midsummer because it's my oh, you can't even really see it, but it's Midsummer.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's my favorite horror film right now because I'm obsessed with horror. Like I'm obsessed with like
Yeah.
my favorite is Chainsaw Massacre, which is about like
That's
cannibals eating people. You
I
know what I
mean,
mean?
that's
So
how
like,
gory this book was, like in
right.
like written detail and like and then some sex and orgies
I'm like,
thrown
ooh,
in,
that sounds kind of good.
Like, well, look, I will text it to you. I will send you a link, and then I want to get your opinion on it if you can make it through
I'll
there.
read it. Yeah, I'll read
Because
it.
I
Because like
got through chapter
you're
6 and
right
I'm
though.
like,
Like,
no. I
is it
needed
just being gory to be gory? Like, is
That's
it
the
just
thing.
being gross to be
That's what it
gross?
felt
Yeah.
like. It felt like how much blood and gore and like being turned on by that can we throw in here for shock
Right.
factor without a real like
Right.
storyline. And it was just like
Right.
I mean I got through chapter 6 and I just couldn't do it anymore. And I'm like, and it
Yeah.
took me like 2 days to get through chapter 6. And I
Yeah,
was just
that's
like,
not normal for you. You like
I just
finish a
can't do
book in a
it.
day. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
so the
usually
next
like,
book I
yeah.
picked up, like after I made the decision, okay, I'm putting this down. It was like dinner time. I'm like cooking dinner. I was like, I just can't do it anymore. Like I'm switching. And so I picked up an ARC, advanced reader's copy, if anyone doesn't know what that means. I picked up an ARC that I had just gotten that morning. And I'm like, I'm gonna make the switch over to this. It's like I don't always go for like super sweet, light and airy romance stuff, but I was like,
Right.
that's what this
Right.
is. I'm gonna go with it.
I need
And
that to counteract what I was just,
yeah, I need some
little
balance,
yin and yang going
just
on.
some balance. So I started reading that. I was done by the next morning. Like, and it was like the same amount of
What?
pages as that one. And I was done by the next morning, and
Yeah.
then there was like a shock factor with that when I read, because it was a prequel to what I'm
Yeah.
reading now. And
Nice.
I like when I read the description for book one, because apparently book one came out in like April. And then this
Hmm.
prequel is coming out later this month in like maybe like a week and a half. And so like anyone who's read this, they've read book one first, and this prequel that I just read is coming after, right?
Right. 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 Right.
So I get to the last part of the book, and like I read the description for book one, and immediately in tears, and I'm like texting Mandy. I was like, how is this happening? I can't believe this is going to happen in book one. And it's like, I mean, and I feel like I can spoil this because it's literally in this description. But like I read the prequel and I just fell in love with these characters. They are so
Yeah.
fucking cute and sweet, and just like it's kind of like romantic comedy. They are absolutely precious.
Cute.
And I'm like
Yeah, we
ready to
love it.
travel the world with them. And then I read the description for book one, and it's all about him dying, and she has to figure out how to move on. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I just fell in love with him too, and now I lost him. And I'm like texting
Well, it's
Mandy. I'm
going to
like,
take you
this
through
is
that emotional
terrible.
journey. Yeah.
I'm telling you, I've been bawling my eyes out. Like, I
Yeah.
do not get like super emotional with books, but
Right.
I don't know if
Right.
I'm more in tune to my feelings after taking that personality test, which people will see on the podcast next week. But like,
Yeah.
now maybe
Ooh,
I'm
what a
more
little
aware of my
teaser. That
feelings.
was a good little tease.
I
That was
know
a
the
little
teaser,
teaser.
but I've been bawling my eyes out. I'm like
You are
bawling my eyes out.
emotional. That's okay. That's
Like,
all right.
it's so sweet. And it's like, and I was like telling my sister all about it, like in detail. She's like, it's okay. I'll
Right.
forget it by the time I read it,
Right.
but like, I'm
No,
like,
but you see, you have like that, you get
oh, God.
emotionally attached to the characters, and that like is
Yeah.
part of why you like to read the books. And
Yeah.
that's
And
gonna
I
be
wasn't
hard.
expecting to
Yeah.
get so emotionally attached in a prequel. I mean, it's short, it's like less than 200
Yeah.
pages. And I was like loving them. They were perfect for each other. And then he's gonna die. Like, what the fuck? I'm like, and then so like yesterday, I was like messaging Mandy. I was like,
He's gonna
uh,
die?
I messaged Mandy. I was like, it happened. Like, I'm like
Yeah.
crying, like literally, like not one
You're just,
sweet,
yeah.
delicate tear, like in a sniffle.
Like
No,
bawling,
like
like
bawling,
sobbing,
blowing
like my
my
nose
nose
is, I'm like
afterwards,
going like this with my
crying.
nose.
Like last night, I was laying in bed with Kevin, and I was like reading this, and I got to this part, and I'm like crying silently on my side of the bed, and then I like tuck my Kindle under the pillow and roll over and hug him. Don't die. And he's like, "What is your problem?" And I'm like, "Please,
Okay.
you can't
Wasn't
be here.
planning on
Don't
it.
die." And he's like, "It's okay, babe. I'm here." Like, it was just it. I'm like, it's this book. It's not. I'm not crazy. I am crazy,
Right.
but it
Yeah,
was,
no, we're
you
crazy.
know.
Well, did I tell you how I had like a very similar, I don't know if I told you, but the Witcher series books that I was reading.
Oh yeah, you were telling me that it was just no. I think that's what started our book rant episode.
Oh, is
Was
that
just
what started the book grant? Because okay, so that makes sense because I really tried.
yeah,
I really tried, but I think because it's like it's the same thing. It's either like the person who compiled all of the short stories to make it into a novel, just like it just isn't there for me. It just
yeah,
isn't there for me. And I understand now when I watch this interview of like the show director being like the source material is garbage. Because and I was
oh
like,
no,
that's kind of fucked because like the games are great. And the books, I was like, I think the books are okay. And then now I'm like, oh no, I get it. Like I get it.
I
Like
get it.
it just hops around like crazy. And then
Yeah.
like they won't finish a story. Like and then it
Oh
just goes on to the next thing.
no, that would drive me crazy.
And then so there's the bard, right? So there's a bard is a guy who sings that tells stories.
Hmm.
Popular in fantasy, very popular in D&D. It's a character, it's a class you can play.
Yeah.
This bard, instead of like in Lord of the Rings, how like the poems or the songs of the elves are like written out and you can read it. and
Yeah.
then like interpret it yourself. And like, it's very beautiful. Like I sometimes skip over it because I'm like, I know what this one means. Like, you know, I've already read it. Like
Yeah.
I don't need
Yeah.
this one. They don't go like, here's the song the bard is singing. He's like, I'm singing a song about this thing that did this thing and I'm here. And I'm like, why are we talking about singing? Why don't you
I'm
just
like, where's
why
the
don't you
song? Like,
song?
just give us the song.
No, yeah, like he's talking like I sang this song once about this thing. And I'm like, wait, what?
What was the song?
I don't know. I just don't know if it was like really well, it was Polish first too, so it was also translated to English. So you
Yeah.
know how that kind of is
Yeah.
sometimes. And I don't know. I had to put it down.
Yeah.
I have all three and I couldn't even get through the first one. So
Yeah. Mandy just sent me one that she didn't finish. It's actually the second one that she hasn't finished because the other one was like too much. It was like a trigger and that she couldn't get past, which I totally get. But this last one,
right.
it was an arc, but it was like really badly formatted. So like everything was like right aligned and no spacing between paragraphs. And it's like, how do you
Oh
read
no.
that?
Oh
Like
no.
no. And I was
That
like,
was kind of hard for me. And Dante,
yeah,
it's kind of like that because like the cantos, they're like it's a poem, right? So it's not like a poem we know, but it's like a schematic poem. Back
yeah,
then they wrote like that. And it's like I had to like learn how to just read that way
yeah.
because like the sentence doesn't end, it just kind of continues on to the next line, or you have to pause, but then you have to like I
Yeah, no, like
no,
formatting makes a
no.
big difference. Like
Makes a
I,
huge
yeah,
difference.
no. So, okay, there's our book rant.
Our
Life
little
update
baby
book
book
rant.
rant. But how's your month been for planners? I saw that you put out another little mini kit.
Yeah, so I've been working my way through like customer requests because that
Oh,
list is like ridiculously long. So now that I've switched over to, oh no, it's not called, phone call. Now that I've switched over to like a quarterly collection format, which is so much
right,
easier on me, like it's given
right,
me more
right.
time to one, work through my customer requests, which people seem really happy about that. And then those, anytime I do those requests, it always ends up with more requests that go on the list, which is fun. It's fun and stressful because I know I can't do them all at once. Um, but it's also given me more time to do my Skillshare class. So that's another
Right,
update is I'm
right.
like
Yeah.
so close to getting my next Skillshare class out. And then hopefully now that this big one's out of the way, I can start doing like a whole new
Right.
class like every quarter. And
Oh,
because
nice.
I haven't had the time, so it's kind of lame that this is just my third one, but it'll be
Right.
done by the end of the month. So yay.
Ah,
So that's really cool. So like this weekend I'm finishing up the last of the scripts and so next weekend I'm starting the recording. So maybe by the time this episode comes out, it will be out. How cool would that be?
that would
Like
be so
it'll be
fun.
so fun.
Are you doing
So
the Notion thing on there too, or are you just doing your planner like
well, the Skillshare channel is like for the other side of my
oh,
life.
that's right. It's like
Yeah,
digital
so
stuff. Oh,
yeah,
that's so
so
crazy.
it's
Do they
computer
even know you
modeling.
do that?
I don't know. I mean, it's like it's computer modeling and SketchUp and it's geared towards
Yeah.
interior design stuff. So it's I actually had someone say that they recommended my channel to someone else who's getting started in interior design and wanting to do SketchUp. So like for those of you who don't know, the other side of my world is interior design and like home design and stuff like that. So I kind of sort of, it sounds weird to say it, but I sort of like specialize in 3D computer models of homes that we design. And so I've started doing like this series on my Skillshare channel. It's like the SketchUp Mastery Foundations is the series. It's a 3-part series. And so once that's finished, I'll be
So
moving
good.
on to like other stuff and we'll be focusing on like building models of like light fixtures and furnitures and individual rooms and stuff like that and just kind of like build on all of that. And it's taken me a
Mhm.
while to get to just to that point, but it's a lot of fun and I love teaching stuff and I especially love teaching that stuff. So
Mhm.
it's been really fun to like dive back into it. And I don't know if
Well, then
one
how they
day,
make you money too. I mean, like those skill share. I
yeah,
mean,
I
that
mean,
Skillshare.
Yeah, because I put a class out there and like obviously it would make me more money if I was doing it on like my own service and like people were coming to me and I could, charge, regular prices for something like that. Whereas like on Skillshare,
Right.
it's based off of like the number of students and like the watch time and stuff like that. And so it doesn't bring as much money as if I was like had my own thing, but at the same time, in order to have my own thing, I would have to like spend the time and effort to build up this massive audience because that side of
Mhm.
things, like that Instagram just comparatively is just a tiny, tiny, tiny audience compared to like my digital planning stuff because I've put so
Right.
much work into it. Like that one it's over 3,400 followers on that account right now. And I just hit over 1,000 people on over 1,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel for that. So I just finished like a big massive giveaway. And like
Yeah.
there was like three winners and like the top prize was like $100 store credit. And I just
What?
announced it yesterday morning. And I woke up this morning and that person's already used all of her store credit. She's like, just like one big massive order. And I told her, I was like,
Totally.
yesterday, I was like, you don't have to use it all at once. It's just set up to like
Yeah.
calculate. And then I wake up to one big massive order from her. And it's like, that was pretty
She's like,
cool.
I want that. I want
Mm.
that. I
And then
want
she went a little over it. So I think her total ended up being like $2.92 or something. And it's like, how
Look at
cool is
that. You
that?
made $2 on a giveaway.
Yeah, how cool is that? So she's a really good
That's
customer.
so
Her
cool.
message, like after she saw the recording and like the announcement for the live stream, she's like, "You made my day." She's like, "I literally jumped for joy, like tears and everything." I was like, "Oh, that just makes me feel so good that I can like brighten
Yes.
up someone's day, because
Yeah,
sometimes we just need that,
absolutely.
you know." So that's that life update.
Oh my goodness. That's so exciting. I'm so proud of you.
It's fun.
That's so fun because I remember us kind of talking about like when you get to 1,000 followers, like that's going to be so crazy.
Yeah,
But
and it's like I
because I
think
know
it's
you
a
get more and
thousand
more
twenty-one right
permissions
now.
too.
Yeah.
So
So
crazy.
just over.
Let's just run over to that channel. I know, and I think our video did pretty well too for like the first week release. Like I was
Yeah.
really surprised. I mean, not surprised, but I was really happy to see that, we had gotten a bunch of follows on Instagram as well, which was super great.
Yeah, I was really
Um,
excited about that too because I was like, as part of the giveaway, I decided let's kind of like promote the podcast too since it's coming out
yeah.
this week. So I was like, if you enter the giveaway, you can get a bonus entry if you go follow the podcast. And so I was like, yeah. And then I had
Oh,
people messaging me after watching the episode. Like someone messaged me and she's like, how do you not know more Victorians? She's like, I have two of my family. I'm like, how is it common everywhere else but not here? Like it's so
I don't
funny.
know. You live in the middle of nowhere though
I
too,
do. It's
so
not like super. I mean, I've been to more middle of nowhere places than where I live, but in the grand scheme of things, yeah, it's pretty much middle of nowhere.
yeah. I mean, I have too. Like I feel like I live somewhere that I don't know. I feel like if you go just like 30 minutes to the west, like you're in the middle of no. But if you go like east, then or like at least from where I'm at, if you go closer to the city, I mean, it even feels like, what's weird is that, for my city, like your main city is also like a real city though. Like mine's like a baby city.
Like when
It
you say
doesn't have
my
anything
main
in it.
city, do you
There's
mean
nothing
like
there.
Nashville? Like I mean Nashville's
Yes.
like I mean
Yes, it's like a real
it's
city, like
it's
a
like a real
real
city.
place.
It's a real place. Whereas like when I say where I actually live, they're like, huh?
Right.
Like
Right.
what?
They're like, where?
I'm like, yeah,
No, but that's like
it
the
just
thing is like,
it's
okay,
there.
see, that is the big city here,
Yeah.
Tori. It is like there's no one here. It was the same thing. So my life update was it was my birthday on
Whoop,
Monday.
whoop, birthday. Happy
And
birthday again.
so happy thank you. She texted me. Um, and she's a real friend. Um, we went out of town because I'm crazy and I
Hmm.
had a wedding. I had two weddings actually. I had a wedding here in the city at the new venue that I'm working at like full
Hmm.
time now. And then so my assistants did that wedding. So I had my two assistants do that wedding. And then I and my husband both, or my husband and I, just drove to Kentucky to do
Just,
a wedding in
just go.
Kentucky.
Oh my goodness. You should have just like kept driving just a little bit further and we could have met up.
I know. Well, listen, it was a long weekend. Okay,
Yeah.
so we drove to St. Louis. And then, you know what's funny is we almost went down to Nashville. We like almost went down. I was like, we will go up through St. Louis and then down to Tennessee and then over because we were trying to do like a whole birthday trip too, because it was
Yeah.
like that Monday was my birthday. So Saturday was the wedding. My husband did the bartending. It was so fun. He hadn't done it in a long time, but
That's fun.
they had all these bourbons, all these whiskeys. It was so great. He was so in his element. Like he was like made for that customer service, like food industry, like highfalutin place, and like you're making fancy cocktails and like
Does he do all like the little
um
tricks with the shakers and the bottles and
yeah.
like
Oh yeah. Yeah, he loves that shit. Yeah. Well, and he's like he sits there, talks to you, he like asks you about, he's just a good like he and I are very, very similar. It's so interesting because so many people see I'm derailing already. So many people say how we're so similar that it's like weird that like, most couples are like a little yin and yang or like a
yeah,
little opposites attract. And it's like, no, no, no,
that's
no.
how
Like
we are.
he is me. Like he is me just in male form, like
That's
so.
funny.
Oh, it's so weird too because I think it comes down to like we're both super narcissistic, so it's like we both love ourselves as much as we love each other. So it's like you remind me of me, so I just love you and
I
me.
just love you.
Love you, really love me, but love you. Um, so we had a great time in Kentucky. The wedding went great. The wedding was amazing. It was
Nice.
super nerdy. It was in an art studio, and we had
Ooh.
like nerdy centerpieces done with like anime characters and like Pokemon, and it was like
Oh,
so fun.
fun.
They had Dance Revolution there. They had
That's cool.
rock band there. It was fun. We had like a whole little arcade kind of set up.
That's cool.
Um, oh, it was so fun. It was so fun, and they had a great time, and that's all that really matters to me.
Yeah.
The space was really great. They were really helpful. I brought all my own linens, and the food people were great as well. I I don't know if it was like exactly what they were wanting food wise, but they seemed really happy about it. So
Okay.
that's all that matters to me.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'm like my envisionment of like what would be good. I don't know. I guess I'm always just like really picky. I'm
Yeah.
like a really picky person.
Oh, yeah.
Aesthetically, it looked great. It was beautiful. But to me, I was like, we could have maybe ordered these at Sam's Club. Like, I don't know. Like, it was very like, you know what I mean? Like, it just
Yeah.
wasn't like, I guess like you're paying for the service. You're not necessarily paying for the food all the time either. And there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. Like, the food was great. Like, they wanted like little sandwiches and like a very tea party like style setup. So that's what they
Yeah.
had. And I mean, to me, it went perfect.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know. I'm pickier with food, I guess. Like, especially for a wedding, I'm just picky.
Yeah.
But they were happy, so that's all that matters.
It's all there.
Um, so then we drove back to St. Louis and then we went out. So St. Louis has casinos, which we're casino people.
Oh,
We're big gamblers. Oh yeah, I'm a huge gambler.
never been to a casino.
I've been playing poker since I was like 7.
What?
We used to play in my house. Yeah, we used to have chips. We'd have the like, octagon table that folds out over a card table,
Oh,
and
wow.
we would play poker and blackjack and stuff. Like I don't know, my dad was weird. I mean, I love my dad. Love my dad. Best dad. Um, but like I was the kind of kid that was raised on like watching Spaceballs and like and like Holy Grail, like Mighty Python, like and not knowing anything, just like my parents were like, "This is a funny movie," and I'm like, "Yeah, you're so funny." Like, and then but like playing poker like in the living room with my parents, like we did that. Oh my God, because we grew up in Florida. So, well, I grew up in Florida. They didn't grow up in Florida. They grew up in New York. So that's also part of it is like having two New Yorker parents, like
Yeah.
living in Florida makes you like a total different breed. Um, but so we used to like a hurricane would come, we'd lose power. All we do is play poker. We play poker the whole time.
Yeah.
Like we play board games. So, and I think that's why I'm like obsessed with board games and I like gambling and I'm very competitive. Um, because that's just like in my personality at this point, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, and so I've won poker tournaments. Like I'm like pretty good at
What?
poker.
Wow.
We play poker on Saturday nights. Oh, I'm gonna sneeze.
Oh.
Uh, no,
Oh
maybe
my
it. Okay,
Oh,
anyways, so on
oh my God.
Saturday nights we go to bars and play poker. So I'm
Okay,
laughing at
okay.
everything.
It's just really funny. Okay.
So yeah, I'm pretty good at playing poker. And so, but I don't play poker in casinos. So I like playing slots and we like playing craps and I like playing roulette. So, and a lot of the time that we took so we went to the first time we went to the Horseshoe Casino in St. Louis. It's like
Mhm.
right there by the water. It's awesome, right by the bridge that takes you over to Indiana or Missouri. I don't know. I don't know.
The
Don't even know
bridge.
where I was.
The
The
bridge.
it takes you to the other state right next to it. Because yeah, St. Louis, Missouri, into Indiana. Yeah, into Indiana. Anyways, um, because both these cities, like St. Louis and Louisville, or Louisville, as people like to call it, Louisville, they're both like half the state. Half the city is like a different state. It's very weird.
Oh, that is weird. I did not know that.
Yeah, it's very weird. Like one highway takes you it's like a border, I guess it's called a border city. And it's just like people live in Indiana and work in Kentucky or work in Kentucky or live in Kentucky and like work in Indiana. It's weird. It's
Oh,
very weird.
oh,
Like the
didn't know
girls
that.
went to go get their hair done at a salon in Indiana. Isn't that weird?
So weird.
I don't know. I've never lived anywhere like that, so but it was cool. It was very cool.
I
I
mean, I
mean,
saw this thing
just
on like Instagram the other day and yesterday, this morning, I don't know when it was, but it was like somewhere there's like these two islands that are within visual of each other. And like between Russia and Alaska, like there's these two islands. I can't remember the names.
right,
People probably know. I did not know this,
right.
but there's like a timeline divide between those. And they're
Oh,
literally like a day apart, but they
that's
can see each
crazy.
other. Like you can, they're
Is that
like
also
so
the place in
close.
like parts of the year you could like walk to because it's like frozen?
Oh, I don't know. Is that
Is
a
that
thing?
the same one? I think
I
that
don't
might be the
know.
same one.
I don't know.
Where it's like some parts of the year it's like it's like the ice is solidified.
It's crazy. I know that you
I
can
know.
like drive vehicles across lakes in like the Dakotas when it gets cold enough. Like
Isn't that
because I've heard
crazy?
people tell me that. Like that's a
Oh,
thing.
I bet it. Oh, I
No,
bet
thank
it.
you. I no, I don't like that cold. No, thank
Do you
you.
know how heavy a car is? No
Yeah,
way.
no, I'm not trusting.
No amount of ice. That is not how inertia
No.
works.
Mm. I don't want that much ice. I don't want that much cold. I don't want that much trust in ice
Yeah.
and cold. No, thank you.
That is a lot of
It's
trust.
a lot of
Yeah,
trust.
you don't like cold weather, huh?
No, I don't really like hot weather. Look, give me that in between and I'm
Weather
happy. It's
sucks.
like
Well, you're
yesterday it
like in
was
that.
so freaking hot out here. Like so
Oh,
hot.
don't get me started.
It was
Yeah.
so hot. And I'm like, it's one of those like temperatures that it's feels hotter than it actually is. And like
Right.
my smallest
Right.
little pup, she does this thing where she likes to lay on the hot concrete to the point where
Weirdo.
like if she's like
She's
walking
burning.
on it, like she's like walking and like lifting her feet like this because it's so hot, but then she'll lay on it till her eyes are dripping, her nose is dripping. Like I sent my sister a picture yesterday because she's like laying there on the hot concrete, tongue hanging out, just being her happy little self. And I'm
Like
like,
being in a little
I
tanning
picked her
bed.
up and I'm like, you're leaving red puppy prints on my arm. Your feet are so hot. And I'm like,
Oh my
she didn't want to go
God.
in. I'm like, you can't stay out here. And it was
No,
like,
you cannot
I want
be
to
out
say it was
here.
like 86 degrees, but felt
Right.
like 97. Like that's what my
Hmm.
phone said. I'm like, it feels
Yeah.
hotter than that. Thank you very much.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Well, it was 103 here yesterday.
no, no,
And it
no,
felt like 120.
no.
You
That's
know
too
what's weird
hot.
though is like here it's only like this for like this month. It's like last month and this month it's like gets really hot. But then like in September it's gonna be fucking beautiful. It's gonna be like 77 degrees. It's
Oh,
gonna be
nice.
beautiful out. There'll be like a little crisp little wind in the air. Like I'm used to this
Yeah.
weather all the time. Like people
No,
complain here all the
no.
time. I'm like, I grew up at this was the temperature all year.
Oh,
Florida, this is how hot it is all the time.
well.
All the time.
I
You get
remember
maybe 2 days
I
in
went to
November where
Florida
it's like cool
in high school on like some kind of like club trip
trip.
where we didn't
Yeah.
actually like do the club activities. And I think that started with like the teacher that went with us, who was like in charge of the club. She got sick and then it just kind of like traveled through the group. But one day while we were there, we were walking around and we're from here and it was like we're used to like milder temperatures is where shorts and
Right.
tank tops and you're walking around, you're
Right.
fine. We're walking down the sidewalks in shorts and tank tops and we're completely fine. Everyone around us is wearing jackets and like full pants, full sleeves, looking at us like we're crazy. Like people
Like
actually
Uggs.
stopped us and they're like, "Are you not cold?" And we're like, "We're actually sweating a little
No.
bit." And it
Yeah.
was like,
Actually,
and
it's
they're
like
just
kind of hot here. It's like almost
yeah.
50 degrees
And
here.
they
It's
were just like
hot.
looking at
Yeah.
us like we were crazy. And it's like 72 degrees. This is what you should be wearing. It may have been like
No.
68 or so.
72
Like this
degrees
was
is
your
freezing. That
yeah.
is freezing
Yeah.
in
No,
Florida.
here it's not. There, everyone
Same.
looked at us like we were insane. And it was the weirdest thing. The weirdest thing.
Yeah, I
So
remember
funny.
having to like pull out my jacket and my little leather jacket and my Uggs. And like in Florida, girls love to be like, we can wear Uggs too. And it's like, no, no, girl. I had maybe like two pairs of jeans my entire life
That's crazy.
because everything was cut off shorts.
That's crazy.
Everything. Yep. I mean, here it's weird because here like it's so close to Texas, so everyone's like, at least it's not as humid as Texas. And I'm like,
It's so
guys, this isn't
humid.
humid. Like this isn't moisture. It rained. That's not humid. Like when you walk outside and you're sweating in your car, you're
Oh,
sweating, like you're wet. Like you walk
yeah.
from your house to your car, you turn on the air and you're wet. That's moisture. I live somewhere where we're below sea level, Tori. I live below sea level on my street
Oh,
because we
wow.
had waterfront property on my street. It
Wow.
was so grossly hot sometimes where like you would just your makeup would just start
Just
rolling off of your
rolling.
face.
Yeah.
Rolling.
Mm.
I never even I'm so many times like my husband was like, I can't believe you don't wear makeup like other girls like in Colorado, like girls wear makeup, because it's like beautiful, great weather,
Yeah.
never hot. It's like a beautiful place to be. You can wear
Where everything
beautiful, like
stays in place.
porcelain skin. Yeah, porcelain skin makeup every day. I was like, if I wore makeup every day, I would have totally been wasting money
Yeah.
because it would just fall off.
Just comes
And most
off.
of the time, I'm going to the beach anyways. I mean, I was such that kid. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I talked about this, but like, I definitely felt like for the longest time that like being Floridian, like being from Florida or like, and I wasn't even from Florida. I was from New York. I moved there when I was like 2. But being like in Florida, like is part of your personality.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm gonna go to the beach and I'm gonna like go surfing, but we don't really surf here. You know what I mean? Like it was very like, I don't know, like I want
Yeah.
dreads. Like I'm so cool. Like I'm gonna walk around with no shoes because like why shoes? Like
Oh,
I don't know,
no.
like it
Gotta
was
have the
so
shoes.
weird.
Gotta have the shoes. I cannot go without shoes. Like, not even in my own house. Like,
You're
no.
wearing shoes right now? Are you
I'm
wearing shoes
wearing
right now?
shoes right now. I'm wearing flip-flops right
You're
now. Like, I just can't. No, my feet are so
I could be
ridiculously
more barefoot.
sensitive.
I could be
Like,
more barefoot.
no, no. Like me and my sister are exact opposites on that. Like I always, always, always wore shoes. She never wore shoes. Her feet were
Never.
disgusting as a child.
Never.
Like
Yeah.
she's the type of like child that could run across the gravel driveway barefoot, no problem.
Yep.
Me, I step
Yeah.
on the sidewalk and I feel every grit of the
And
concrete.
green.
And I'm
Yeah,
like,
because you
no,
haven't built up
bring
that
me
you gotta build up those
no.
calluses, then
Mm-mm.
you'll feel
Nope.
shit.
No, thank you. No, like I will feel like a speck if I'm barefoot. Like, no. Like, oh, is that a jog hair? Yep, just stepped on it. Like, no. Like, no. Give me shoes. Like flip-flops, yes. Like, but
Or even just like slides, like little
yeah.
slippers for the house.
I've got me
I
some
can't.
great little like Skechers, like slip-in Skechers with arch
Cute.
support, no backs.
Oh,
So whenever I'm like
yes.
sitting down, I can like be in my flip-flops, or maybe I've got a little thing under my desk that is take my shoes off and maybe put my feet on that. But when I
Uh-huh.
stand up, you just get in your slides and then you got arch support at the standing desk. But no,
We're
not
like a no
not
shoe
barefoot.
household. We like
No.
take our shoes off in the garage.
I don't know.
Like there are no shoes in my
It's
house. And it's so weird
uncomfortable.
though, because like when I'm in other people's houses, I feel really weird when I don't have shoes on.
Yeah.
But in my house, I couldn't imagine having shoes on right now. I also think that like I don't know if this is like a genetic thing or if it's like maybe I should talk to my doctor about it, but I feel like I sweat through my feet a lot. Like
Really?
a lot, a lot.
Like you can feel it, or you just know that that's where it's going?
No, like yeah, like you know how sometimes you can tell your hands are clammy
Yeah.
because like you're like kind of sweating through your hands. Like my
W-
feet constantly feel like that. So
Really?
shoes like bother me,
Huh. Now, I will say that
and my feet
whenever,
smell really bad. I have
yeah,
like
like,
really bad smelling feet.
oh, that's
Yeah,
great.
it's really
That's
great.
that's my sister right there. She's gonna
Yeah,
love me
but
sharing
maybe
this
it has to do
business,
with
but
being barefoot all the time. I don't
yeah,
know.
I don't know. But like my feet are like my thermostats in bed. So like if I get hot, just stick one foot out and I'm good.
Yeah,
If I get
yeah,
really
that's so
hot, two
funny.
feet out, and I'm good. Like I may like the top portion of my body is completely burritoed in the comforter, but my feet
Yeah,
are out.
yeah,
Because you
but
got to
you're
regulate.
cool. But then you're
Got to
cool, right?
regulate. Yeah,
Oh my
like the
God,
only
my
place in
husband.
our house that is like a no shoe zone is our bathroom, like the master bath. That's the only place. And it's just because like I don't clean that bathroom, the hubby does. And it's like you're
Right.
tracking on the tile. I don't want to clean it again. No shoes allowed. So literally it's like if I go to that bathroom, like we have to take our shoes off and they're right beside the door
Yeah.
and then we're going there.
Yeah.
Like so that's the only place in the house that's like no shoes because he doesn't want to clean the tile like that. And I'm like, how does that make sense? How does that make sense? Like the
You
one
should
place.
still clean the
And I
tile
think
like
it's just
all the
because
time.
like
It's your
that
bathroom.
tile shows more than like anywhere else. And it's
Yeah,
one
but
day
it's
we're
also
going to
your
redo that
bathroom.
bathroom.
So like
Yeah, I don't know.
who's seeing it
It's a
besides
weird
you?
rule, but I'm giving it to him. Just,
Yeah. I mean,
you got to
I
give him
listen, I would do
something.
anything to have my husband clean the bathroom.
Oh, it's great. Like he cleans the toilets. He like cleans the bathroom. You just go, cleans the shower, like does that. And I'm like,
Uh,
thank you.
yeah,
Thank
I'm
you.
like ready to pay someone to come clean my house at this
Yeah.
point. I've probably said that 3 times on
I
this
know we've
podcast
talked about
already.
that before where I feel
I'm
like I
ready
have to
to
get the
pay
house to a
someone to
certain clean
clean my
level before
house.
I let someone come in.
Tori,
And you're like, screw it, just get here. Like,
I
no.
had a full blown panic attack
What?
yesterday because I
Oh,
couldn't sit down to work because the house was a mess.
oh,
And my
yeah, I don't
husband's like,
have
"You're
that
fucking
problem.
crazy. This house isn't a mess. This house is fine. This house is beautiful. You keep this house so clean." And I'm over here reorganizing my pantry,
Oh, yeah, that happens to me
reorganizing my
sometimes.
pantry.
Yeah,
Or it's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I can't even think.
at a
My
moment.
brain will not even let me think of the next thing
Oh,
if this is
yep.
not done right now.
I've had those moments. I feel you. Yep. I mean, it's obviously not the whole house because it needs some work, but that's one thing
Oh,
on
dude,
my to-do
I
list for
couldn't even be in
today.
this room.
Because,
I couldn't even be in this room. I wanted to move everything. Like
yeah.
it was like such a, I couldn't even control it. Well, the issue is it started with I bought a bunch of stuff for a wedding that's
Mhm.
in October. It's a bunch of like cylindrical, like votive vases. So I have a bunch of those and I was putting those away in the guest bedroom because my closet in there, like, which would be like a kid's closet is like now my wedding closet
Yep.
and it just has a bunch of shit in it. Um, so I'm like reorganizing that stuff and I'm putting things in boxes and I'm putting things away. I'm pulling out stuff for my show tomorrow because I'm going to a wedding show tomorrow
Hmm.
to have like a booth and like meet with
Nice.
couples and stuff.
Nice.
And so I'm putting that box together and I'm like looking at the box and it's like bothering me. So I'm like reorganizing the box. And then I'm like, oh, I'm going to put these things over here. And then the
And it
next
just
place I went, I
snowballed.
hated it. I had to like start cleaning that space.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then like I was done cleaning that space and I had to throw something away. And then like the closet, like the pantry has the trash in it. So I had to like take the trash
Oh,
out and I had to like
yep.
clean the trash can. And then I had to
Yep.
like reorganize all of the spices. And
Yep.
and there was still
I've
like
been there.
6 things I wanted to do. There was still, and then I was cleaning linen. So then I was like folding those up and then it was just a good day. It was a productive day and
Yeah.
I
But
got
it
all
was
that
like
stuff
one
done.
thing led to like something else that led to something else that had nothing to do with what you originally planned to. Yeah. No, I've been there. Been there.
It's
Like,
like part of my
yep.
ADHD brain that just like does not let me focus on just one thing and getting that one thing done. And normally I can get past it. Normally I like give myself a checklist and I just do the checklist and I call it a day.
Oh, the checklist
But
helps.
this time it was just
Yep.
like one thing left to another thing. And then I would just be angry. I would look at something and get like viscerally angry that it wasn't clean. Like I literally, Red has this fryer because we have a lot of stuff for the funnel cake stuff that we do.
Oh,
Um, yeah, Red wants to have a
love
whole
me.
funnel cake food truck. Yeah,
Love
don't get me
me some
started. It's
funnel
like a
cake.
whole nother side business that I can't even get into because I'm not running his business for him. He's got to do it for himself.
Yeah.
But we have all this equipment. We have all these fryer things in the house. And I usually have it all like packed up and ready to go. So if like we need to do an event, like we have an event at the end of the month that will be ready to go. Um, and the one fryer I actually made fried Brussels sprouts the other night. So I like used
Mm.
the smaller fryer that we use for like chicken and stuff that doesn't have to do with the funnel cakes. And so I went to move it to clean like underneath it, and it was like sticky and gross. And I like started yelling and screaming, and I'm like, why is the dishes not done? Why are these things not
Yeah.
done? Why can't I just instantly clean this right now?
Yep. I can totally relate to that. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was my day yesterday. That was just yesterday. Like that was just yesterday. Um,
Ooh.
but it's been a good week. Like my birthday week is always a really fun week. This weekend,
Yep.
like tonight, we're probably gonna have some people over to celebrate my husband. So me and my husband are a week apart. So his birthday's on Monday.
Crazy.
Tuesday. His birthday's on Tuesday. So we're both, I told you, we're the same person. We are the same person.
Yep.
It is crazy. We are two Leo babies that love each other as much as they love themselves. And we got married on my birthday. It was also my anniversary. It was my
That's
3-year anniversary of being married.
crazy.
I know. Well, my
Wow.
mom also got married on her birthday, which is also so weird.
That is weird.
I know. I know. And it's also so weird because my mom is a Scorpio, I think. Which is gonna we're gonna kind of allude to, we'll talk more about that when
Yeah, because I don't know
we
nearly
talk
as
about
much
our
about that.
astrological signs,
Mhm.
because we have a whole zodiac episode planned, guys. This is gonna
Mhm.
be a crazy one because Tori's never done it and I'm really
Nope. I
interested.
just know that I'm a Capricorn. That's it. That's all I know. That's it. That's all I got. It's as far as it goes.
You don't
Yeah.
even know what that means.
No, I have no idea. I have no idea. That's just what I am. That's just what I know. That's it. Like my only Zodiac experience is from the Zodiac Academy series, like the book series. That's my
Right.
only Zodiac experience.
Right.
That's it.
I
That's all I
love
got.
that though. I
That's all
love
I got.
it. I love it. I love how you always tie it into a book. It's
Yeah,
so
well, you
good.
gotta. I mean,
It's
books are like my thing, and they're starting to take
right.
over. Like, I guess that
Right.
my
Well, what are
other,
you reading right now? Do you want to talk about what you're reading right now? How long have we
yeah.
been talking?
So
What time is
I have
it?
no idea how long we've been talking,
You don't have a
but
running number? You don't have like a thing up at the
no,
top that says how
no,
long
because
we're talking?
we like I see that it's recording, but it doesn't give me a time. I have no idea because like
Okay.
we started over an hour ago, but we did a little business meeting, and then
We
we
did do
like
a little business meeting.
we swapped out for a new thing. So I have no idea.
Yeah.
But like,
Okay.
so
What are
book
you reading
world.
right now?
Currently,
Yes.
I'm reading After the Ashes by D.L. Galley.
Ooh.
And so what had
You like
happened,
them. You like them a
well,
lot.
this is my second book from them. The first one was
Yeah.
like the prequel that I read like from night until morning the other day. And that was my
Right.
first experience. So how I found this author was I have a bookstagram on Instagram now. And I got a message from an author, not this one, but I got a message from an author the other day that I had never even heard of before. And that apparently has a huge following on Instagram. And like,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So she like messaged me and she's like, I've got a new book coming out and I've seen your content and I've seen what you've been showing. Like, do you want to like check it out and like review it? And I'm like, huh,
Hmm.
yes, please. Like I went to her page and I'm like reading,
Started
like
an
looking her
Instagram
up
in
on
the first place.
Amazon and I'm
Yes.
like, okay, yeah. And so she like sends me like the like your typical form for like an influencer to sign up for an arc or like
Yeah.
to be a part of like the promo thing. And so
Hmm.
then that led to getting on the master list for that promo company, like for
Oh,
her and does other authors. And apparently this marketing team has like a couple different Facebook groups, like one for a bunch of authors that they're promoting and like you can get the
huh.
promo material to share. And then another one is for like getting actual arcs, the advanced readers copies and like
Right.
leaving reviews and everything. So I'm like, so that's how I discovered this person. And I was like, okay, sign me up for this one and this one. And I'm like, yes, please. So then I started reading and I'm like, I'm hooked. And so now I'm like, I don't want to like sound full of myself or whatever. Like I'm like this big shot in the book world because I'm not. But like now I'm doing like promo stuff for
Yeah, no, you
several different
are.
artists, I mean
Yes.
authors, and it's like so cool because it's all
Yes.
these ones that I like love their stuff, and then now I'm starting to find these new ones, and it's just so cool. I love
That's
it.
so cool.
So
That's
cool. I
so
love it.
cool.
And I always love when like an author responds to one of my posts and I'm like, how freaking cool is that? Because like we read their
That's
stuff and it's
really
like
cool.
it's kind of like this abstract concept of like, yeah, they're out there in the world. But then they comment on my post and I'm like, fuck yes, this is so cool.
The
So
interaction is real.
the interaction is so cool.
Yeah,
So
it's so
cool.
fun.
I
How does
like,
Mandy, is
back and
Mandy so
forth.
excited too, or what?
Yeah, it's so funny because
I
like
think you
after I
need to
got
get her
this,
on your team.
I know,
I think you need to get her on your team.
well, she's awesome. She like helps me. She's kind of become like my sort of assistant with some stuff where she's helping me with like goodness files, but now we're like sharing all this book stuff. So like when this author reached out, I was like, I think
Yeah.
my bestie would love this too. You want me to share? And she's like, yeah. And so I'm like, Mandy, here you go. And so then like she signs up for it. And so I don't know if she's dived into those Facebook groups with the ARCs yet, but she just got on another one for gay romance reads. And so she's been doing some of those. And so now she's like sending me books like add this to your list. And then I'm sending her add this to your list. And so it's so much fun because like we're both just like coming from like we have so many books in common, but then we're also like
Right.
finding other ones like share. She sent me like
Right.
2 or 3 full series this morning. Like one of them has like 11 books and
Well,
it's
she
not
also
part
can
of
read
that,
like
but it's
she's like, I read 3 books today, and I'm like, what?
oh, there's a flash flood warning. Um,
Oh,
it just alerted
it
me
is raining by
to
us too.
Kristen.
It's weird that you say that.
Yeah, it's like, well, I thought I heard thunder, but then I wasn't sure. But I guess yes. I guess yes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You
so
guys are out there too, so I bet there's like something.
Mandy hit her 100 book goal like last week before. And I'm like,
Bro, it's like halfway through the year. You still
I
the rest of the year.
yeah, I think I'm on, let's see, what am I on? Because I don't know if all of these are on here, but I keep up with, in my book journal, but then I also keep up on Goodreads. I think
Right.
I'm at, okay, so I'm on book number 80 right now. So that's where I'm at. And I think that not all of
That's
them are
good.
on
We're
there.
like on where that means
Yeah.
you're averaging like 10 books a
Yeah.
month.
So according to this, I am 18 books ahead of schedule of my 100 book goal, but she's like beyond
She
that.
blows through
That's
them
I
so
don't
quickly.
I don't know how she does it, and it's so crazy. And she's like, it'll be different when the kids go back to school. I'm like, how do you have kids and deal with like all these books? Like what? So I was
Some of us
trying to
just find
see.
time.
Okay, so Mandy, according to Goodreads, because we're friends on Goodreads, of course, she has read 105 books so far. So she's on like her
That's
book
insane.
106. That's insane.
That is
That's just
insane.
crazy.
That's a
Crazy.
lot. That
And
is so many.
someone told me the other day, they're like, when they realized that I now have like an Amazon storefront, I told them that I
Yes.
added like a book club list on there.
Yes.
So that's cool. But she's like, can we do a book club? And I'm like, yeah, let's figure out how to do a book
Yeah.
club. So
I'll
that
be
may
sick.
happen at some point. I don't know. That would be
Yeah,
cool.
that's exciting.
Like
Well,
not
I'm
everyone can
reading
join,
something a
obviously.
little easier.
Yeah.
I'm reading the Screw Tape Letters from C.S. Lewis.
Oh,
Classic.
yeah, I've
Have you
heard
read
of that. I
this?
haven't read it, but I've heard of
So
it and
good.
heard what it's about. Yeah.
So good. Now, so I think most people, I mean, C.S. Lewis was very Catholic, very religious, very good Catholic. He wrote this to Tolkien. Like it literally says like to Tolkien on the front. They were in the same little writing group. Yeah, to J.R. Tolkien. And I love Tolkien. So it was always like it to me, it's like, I don't know. I think it was written to help people like identify when evil is trying to, like kind of ensue on your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what normal people would like. This is witty, it's cute, it's like written in letter format. Every chapter is a letter from an uncle to a nephew of like how to become a better demon. And I'm over here like, how to become a better demon.
Like taking notes. Like, where's my notebook? Oh
Most
no.
people be like, oh, I see. He's like playing on these funny interactions between, this patient and his mother and like, what the patient's going through. And you're supposed to like find yourself in the patient. And I'm over here like, my uncle needs to teach.
Oh my God.
Because to me, it's like on anime. Like I can totally see this. It's fantasy. Like to me, it's fantasy, right? Like it's like
Yeah.
this. Have you ever seen like Death Note or anything like that? Like those anime shows that have demons in
I
it?
think so. I feel like the hubby made me watch it once. I think.
Well, so Ryuk is a demon that lives in hell and he's in charge of like, things and whatever. And so the one character reminds me so much of Ryuk, and the other nephew reminds me of this younger. And it's so funny because like the way that it's written, it's it's very wormwood. Oh, I'm so sad to hear that, it's written like this man is talking to his nephew from like the
Yeah.
1920s. It's like
It's
very
all
old
very proper.
school. Oh, very proper. Very like you almost read the ums in between the words. It's very do not let him suspect the law of undisclosure. Like it's just written very, I don't know. It's just to
Oh,
me like it would be a great, those plays that like it's just like written word and they just read the words and like people are acting, but no one's like talking.
oh yeah.
It would be really good for something like that where like the person's just reading the letter and then the people are acting out what the patient's going through that letter,
Oh,
because
okay.
it's very
Yeah.
like even in the beginning of each letter, it's like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that your patient, is going through this. It's so funny.
I
It's
love
to
that
me,
your
it's like,
voice is switching over whenever.
yes, Wormwood. Well, and it's like Screwtape
Oh,
is the name of the uncle, and Wormwood is the nephew. And then
okay.
there's other demons, and then there's like a whole nother. I'm just at the part where the patient has made a bunch of has made a couple that's a friend. He's made friends with this couple that like aren't religious and like don't, that they like have a lot of money. And so he's like envying them. And he's like, yes, play on that. Play on the fact that, he will never be them. And like, it's so good. Like to me, it's just like
Oh,
written really well. And it's just funny. It makes me like laugh. But I get it. It's supposed to be more like meaningful and like,
yeah.
whatever. Like when we did this first lesson, so me and my mom were reading it together and we're doing this lesson on it. And the first seminar on the first like 10 books were about how like C.S. Lewis wanted to write this. He didn't like writing it, but he needed to write it. And that he said it would be a better book if it was written from the archangel's perspective of like the angel trying to help the patient. And then the screw tape is trying to help the demon that's helping is like corrupting the patient.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because they never ever talk about demons. They like never talk about it. It's not like it's all in between the lines. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know how to explain it. I'm not like the right literature person to talk about it, but like they don't ever like actually talk about being demons or what their jobs are, or like it's really just very written like, I'm so sad to hear that your patient did this today, like make sure he starts thinking
Oh,
about this. And it's very interesting because you could like
yeah.
interpret it in very many ways.
Yeah.
I was telling my mom how it would be really cool if it was like he was like a psychologist or something. I mean, not that he should be talking about his patient to anyone if he's a psychologist, but like
Right.
it
Right.
was one of those things where like you could interpret it that way instead of like that he's like a demon, you know. And they always say
Oh,
the enemy, which is like Jesus. It's so funny because they never say Jesus' name and they never say God's name, but they always say the enemy, and it's just very interesting. It's just very interesting.
huh.
It's a cool, cool book.
Yeah.
You would read it in like 2 hours. It's like
Yeah.
maybe 100 pages. But I mean, CS has got some really good ones. I mean, some
Yeah.
really, really good ones. So, and I haven't really read a lot of his stuff. I'm more of a Poe, and I'm a little darker. You have 209 pages.
Yeah.
You'd blow through that in a second, but it's very good. It's very, 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 very good. Um, but yeah, guys, thank you. Tori, do you want to say anything else before I say goodbye?
Um, no, I'm trying to think if there was any other things that, oh, okay. You want a nerdy life update? The last one I got.
Yes.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
super nerdy, but I think you're gonna love it. I have a baby dragon now.
What? Oh my God, wait, I know I saw this on one of your
Look
posts.
at it. Look at my little baby dragon. Look at
Is it
it.
one of those like little 3D
It's
printed
it's
ones?
3D printed and it's like, like
Oh, he's
it's just so
so
cute. Although the hubby
fun.
says it's not a dragon because he doesn't have wings. But
He's a drake, technically.
it's,
Yeah. That's
but
okay.
how fucking cute
He's
is
a
that?
wind serpent. Actually, he would be a wind serpent.
Look at that. I
And
just
wow,
love it. It's
he's
so
so
cute.
cute.
So cute. And then the company that I got it from, it was on Etsy, some random find.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
also sent me like a little
Oh,
walrus keychain
oh my
thing.
goodness.
How cute is that? So
Is it a walrus or a manatee?
I don't know if it's a walrus or a
It doesn't
manatee. I
have
like
tusks.
look at it. It's
What does
so
its butt look
fucking
like?
cute.
Does he have a tail or does he have
It's
legs?
like
Oh, that's a
I
manatee.
think it's a manatee. Yeah, I think it's a manatee. Like,
So
oh my
cute.
gosh, look at it. It's so cute.
I love it's
So
very translucent. It's got like
it's
a
like
color
all like
changing thing to it.
yeah, it's like I want to say that this is like their berry color or something.
Okay.
And then this one is the rainbow one. They have like two different rainbows, but
Oh
like
yeah,
you
the
can get
rainbow's
this in like
so
black
good.
if you like
Oh
black. Like you can
really?
get it in
That's
like
so
solid
cool.
color. I just love it.
Yeah, that would be like a Chinese
I
wind
just
serpent.
love it. Look at it. Look at it.
He's very scary. I
So
love
cute.
him.
So cute.
So cute.
So he
I love
appears in my
cute stuff
YouTube
like that.
videos now, like wrapped around my little baby succulent. He just like hangs out on the desk and like
I love
goes to sit on my
it.
iPad. So that's my
Cute.
nerdy thing.
I
Like
love
I
that.
don't even know how I discovered it on Etsy, but he just
It
hangs out
just
on my
popped up
desk
on
now
you.
and I just
Oh
love
my
him.
God, I'm so excited. I have my Alice in Wonderland photo shoot coming up. Oh my God, I'm
Ooh,
so excited. I'm so excited. It's gonna be
that's
so fun. I've got
exciting.
so many creators on it. My husband is now gonna be a model in it because I got him like this blue velvet suit to wear to my sister's wedding. And I'm like, you could wear this for the photo shoot. And he was like, do you want me to? And I'm like, yeah, obviously you're a
Oh, it's so
model.
fun.
Yeah, no, I'm really, really excited. I'm
So
I'm
fun.
really excited. It's gonna be so fun. So that's next Sunday. I've got so much going on, dude. It's insane.
I know. I've got like after this, I've got to like rearrange the living room because the hubby's picking
Yeah.
up a new TV that we're getting and it will not fit
Nice.
on the TV stand we have now. So we're having to pull the buffet out of the dining room that we don't use because that's the only thing big enough in the house that we can put under
I'll
this
fit
new
it.
TV. And so we got to do all that and then get some work done. And then tomorrow I've got a
Yeah.
client meeting on a Sunday afternoon, but that's just when it worked out for
Yeah.
my aunt and uncle. My uncle just got his contractor's license, and
Oh,
so
nice.
they're buying a piece of property to build a house to sell. And so they want me to like help them with plans
Design it.
and like
Yeah.
look
Design
at
it.
all
Yeah.
that stuff. So
Did you guys
exciting.
ever do lawnmower?
We have not yet because the hubby cannot decide what he wants. He did finally like decide he didn't want to pay his friend to come and like mow the yard anymore. And so he took the mower to the shop and it was done in just like 2 or 3 days. And I'm like,
Oh,
are you kidding me? And he's like, it costs less than $200 to have it fixed. And he's like, are you kidding me? I've paid more than that to get this yard mowed in this time when I could have just had this. So, so yeah. So he's like, he's not
lesson
rushing
learned
into
hard.
it.
Lesson learned hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lesson
So
learned
he's
hard.
not rushing into like getting a new mower because the one he wants is like I think
Yeah. It's like
the
stupid.
dream one was like $14,000. And I'm like, we can
No.
wait on that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm okay if you want to set a budget of seven. Like, we can do a
You're
seven
right.
one because I mean, it's a
Right.
zero turn, big ass mower, but he wants a commercial
Right.
one that can be run every day because he's playing around with the idea of like doing yard work as like a side hustle
Oh.
and like starting
Oh.
like a legit business. So he may be like,
Yeah.
summer's winding down, so he may start
Mhm.
like prepping for that to launch it next summer, maybe. I don't know. He's been
Yeah.
thinking about it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if
Yeah.
that's what you want to do, I'm here for you. We can, you know,
Right.
as long as
We'll
we still
figure it
got
out together.
insurance through
Yeah.
you can take down
Right.
your hours at your regular job just enough to keep the
Right.
insurance and then
Right.
do whatever else you want on top of
Well,
it and
see,
we'll
and
be
that's
fine.
what, oh my God, we almost just bought a car yesterday too. So I had to bring
What?
my car in for the brakes. I like was fucking up
Oh,
my brakes. Like I definitely, my brake pads either melted
oh no.
or something because it was like overnight, like all of a sudden I was scraping my rotors.
Oh, it's
So
bad.
I took it in, they gave me a quote. We were at the dealership and I was like, why don't we just
Like,
like look at some
do
cars?
yeah. Do
And
I
so we
want
looked
to
at a few
test
cars.
drive
We
that?
test drove two cars. I loved this Ford Edge so much. It was like this iridescent red black color. It had black interior. It was so beautiful. But it's like $30,000.
Yeah,
I was like, for a Ford Edge
yeah.
used? I was like, what?
Cars are
And then they were like, well, this is
expensive.
gonna be, yeah. And they like, we couldn't give you more than like, we couldn't give you less than like a $600 a month payment. And I was like, well, then I'm not getting a car. Like, I have a zero payment right now.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I could maybe afford like an extra $300 a month. That would be no big deal. But
Yeah.
like, I'm sorry, what you want to make
It-
$600?
what?
Double what I could afford.
No.
I mean, I could afford it. I don't want to.
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't want
There's
it.
nothing
Just
wrong with
because
my
you
car.
can
Yeah.
afford it doesn't mean you
Yeah.
want to. Like,
Right. I
could
don't want to
we
be that
go out and
strapped.
buy like a giant mower
Yeah.
right now because we can afford it? Yes. Do we want to let go of that?
Right.
No.
Right. Right.
No, we don't.
Right. And if you're trying to do it for a business, like I would totally do like a small business loan instead of doing something personal for you guys so you can do it under an LLC.
Oh,
And then
oh,
if things go
speaking of that, did I tell you that we're thinking about doing a rental property investment?
what? That would be
Yeah.
awesome.
So like I was like it's something that we've been playing around with for a while and because ever since last September when we went on that little mini vacation and like got an
Right.
Airbnb and like
Yeah.
enjoyed this lake house
And
and
you
it was so
loved
great.
it.
It was so
So
good
you're gonna
because
buy one now.
we've
So you're
we've
gonna buy one
thought
now.
about it because like I got on their like wait list for like updates for like this community because it's they have several different communities in Tennessee that are little like glamping type of situations where
Right.
it's
Right.
these little retreats and some are like in the woods and some are on the lake and some are here and they've got I want to say 3 or 4 different locations and quit it dog and so like you essentially you get the property and like you pick out the tiny home house plan that you want to do and like how you want to finish it and like I think there's like starting packages and then you add to it and like they have like a whole property management team that you can use to like
Nice.
do
Nice.
so it's a big investment but it's something
Right.
that we were thinking about and then I finally got ready to email my accountant guy about it. And then the same day that that is sitting in my inbox, stop it, sitting in my draft folder, he calls me and leaves me a voicemail. And I'm like, what in the world? And so, like, I call him back after I get off my Zoom call. And I'm like, do you have psychic powers? Because, like, I was just going to email you. So he's leaving and going, starting his own business. And, like, I'm going with him because he's amazing.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
and he's like, now what was the question you wanted? And so he spent all this time talking to me about it, just like, well, you should do like an LLC with just you and your husband and run it through this and do this. And he's like, give me all this advice. And he's like, I can set all this up for you and do this. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
now I'm just thinking about it even more. Like, how cool would that
Yeah.
be? And then
That'd be so cool. Oh my
and
God,
then
me
we
and
would
my
have
husband
a
could
built in,
we could go to it.
yeah, I was like, then we would have like a built in vacation home. And he goes, no, no,
Yeah.
that is not a vacation. That is a business trip. You're going to check on the property for maintenance.
Yes.
It is not a
Yes.
personal thing. It's a bit, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
I see.
That's
I
true. I see
see.
that.
I see.
Do we host a planning retreat there for business? Yeah, maybe. Like,
Yes.
do we
Yes.
go and like record the podcast there in person
Yes,
sometimes?
a
Maybe.
live
How
record
cool would that
podcast.
be? So
That
now,
would be so
like,
cool.
I think the real estate guy, like in charge of all that, is about to give up on me because he keeps trying to email me and call me, and I'm like not getting back with him. And so I just need to email him and be
Just
like,
do it.
I need more information. Let's see.
Let's do
So we
this.
may
Yeah.
like drive a couple hours one weekend and go visit like this other thing and like to do the next open house or something and like I
Right.
don't know. It's
Right.
like it could happen. Like it could happen.
I think
Like
you
how
should do
exciting would
it.
that
I think
be?
you should do that would be so fun. And I'm sure you'd have it booked out all the time and it would just be passive income and it would just pay for
Yeah.
itself.
I mean, I know that like, it's a big investment. We would have to have like a loan to get started and then,
Right. Right.
but eventually like it would pay for itself, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
It would just be kind of like a thing where you wouldn't have to pay to go there.
Yeah. Like it
That's
would,
so awesome.
it's one of those upfront things, but it would eventually pay for itself with like rental income and
It's the same thing we thought about with our solar panels. Like that was a huge investment.
oh, you did solar
I paid
panels?
what I
We've
would have.
talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a big
So
investment, but
good.
it
I
pays
love it.
for itself. Yeah.
It already has. I mean, it's already cheaper than what we would be paying for electricity right now.
Wow.
We'd be over like probably $150 a month in electricity, and I only pay $70 a month for that loan.
Wow.
So, I mean, we could pay more. I think my husband might be putting $100 a month into it, so we pay it off sooner,
Yeah.
but that's still cheaper. Now, during winter, we might be I don't, we use a lot of electricity here
Yeah.
because it's like, you're heating up your hair. Here we have gas, so we
Yeah.
wouldn't be using it for our heat. But I mean, I have 17 things plugged in right now,
Oh,
just in
no.
front of me.
Yeah.
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 I get
So,
that.
I mean, we love them. We love them. So,
We've talked about it. That I mean, maybe that'll happen. We've also about talked about like there's our back porch needs some work, and I'm like, if we're gonna put work into the back porch, we're just taking it off and doing like a screen porch. That's what I want.
mhm.
And it's like,
Yeah,
you
for the
know, like
doggies.
I'd rather just if we're gonna spend the money to do a back deck, let's just spend a little bit more and do a screened in
Get a real
porch.
back deck.
You know,
Yeah, get a
so
real back. Somewhere I could sit out and
yeah.
relax and
Because it's
yeah.
a big ass porch right now, but it's like it needs some
Yeah.
work because the guy that renovated this house before we moved in, like he did not do the best on the back deck. And so
Yeah.
it's that time. It's like, you know, needs work. And if we're gonna put work into it, might as well really put work into it, you know?
Right. Right. If I'm
So
gonna put money into it, I'm gonna get what I want out of
yeah.
it.
Which is a screen porch.
Yeah.
I want to sit out there and hear the frogs and the crickets and like have a fan,
hmm
you
And
know,
have your little book.
yeah, have my book, have a little papa san in the corner, you know,
Yes.
have a little
Yes.
day bed out there so I can sleep out there at night
Ooh.
sometime if I want. The
Right.
kids can come
Yeah.
over and like camp out there during
Oh, that'd be
good
cute.
weather. Yeah,
A little place to do s'mores.
yeah, yeah. So, yep.
Cool,
Oh,
cool. Wow,
okay.
what
All
a
right, that's
treat.
all my
So,
life
guys, let
update.
us know. Yeah, let us know if you like this life update. Once a month, we're gonna try to do an episode where we just kind of like chit chat, vloggy, um, check in with us. Because some of these episodes were like they're gonna be consumed with like a task
Yeah,
or a full topic. Um, so we're gonna try to, get a little bit of personal for you guys at least once a
yeah,
month.
yeah.
And let us know if you like that. Next month we've got a lot of stuff planned out and we're really excited. So happy
Mhm.
1 month, Tori. Happy 1 month.
Happy 1 month. That's so crazy. It's like, what? Like, what? Like, how
Well,
is
we'll
this
see even where
happening?
we're at next month. We're gonna be saying the same thing next month. We're gonna be like,
Yeah,
oh my God, it's been a month.
that's crazy. It's crazy.
It's so crazy.
So
Well, guys,
crazy.
we'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure you go down into the description, follow us on
Yep.
Instagram, follow us on all of our social media. We have a lot of things going on in our lives, and the only way to keep up with that is like our self-planned social media,
Yeah.
where we plan out our social media more than we plan out our lives.
Yeah. Oh, and make sure to stop by the Instagram for the podcast where you can see like
And
behind the scenes stuff, bloopers that don't
yes,
make it in,
bloopers.
all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So,
Yeah, we're
yeah.
doing a lot of fun stuff over there as well. I think that's going to be really, really popular because I do think we have some like organic moments that are really
Yep.
funny. So,
Yep.
um, yeah, well, guys, we'll see you in the next one. All
All
right.
right.
Bye.
Bye.